In this video, I wanted to go over the new design for the Bergquist application site. Felt like I've learned quite a bit more about building websites since I last built my site, so I wanted to redesign things and kind of present things in a different way. One thing I'm trying to get people to think about is how they're presenting themselves online. I'm calling this your digital identity. So this is kind of how people see you, what people associate you with, and you want to kind of have a identity that represents what you do. And so when people are thinking about that certain craft or hobby, then they associate your brand with that. And one thing I'm highlighting in this website is custom web components. So a website is built with many different web components, and each of these components are set up to do custom things. So they're kind of a combination of functionality and display, such as getting data or uploading data to a server or utilizing different services that other applications offer, all to create a system that you can interact with that might be able to help you with what you do or what your craft is. And another thing I wanted to highlight is how if you start collecting data that's relevant to what you do, then you can use that data to help you move forward. And so you can build things that help you visualize that data or use analytic tools such as AI models or um, other things that might help you predict where you might want to go next. And so collecting data on what you do can really help shape your decisions and make you more informed as you progress. And so a big part of this website is showing different components that might be helpful to what you do. And so I've separated things into three categories: data, finance, and AI. And pretty soon we'll go to the component library and we'll be able to see some examples of different web components. And you might be able to compare those to what might be useful to you and what you do. And this last little section is about kind of showing people that there's a lot of different things that people like to do, and um, kind of trying to help people see how a website might be able to aid them in the things that they do. So we'll go over to components dashboard, and here I list out different components that I've built, and so it gives me a way to constantly add to the site. I plan on adding more and more of these, and there'll be kind of different examples. And if I'm talking to someone that has an idea for a website, I might be able to show them some stuff I've already built, and maybe it will help them see what they want in their website. So here we have some data components, and here we have a timeline component. So this is significant events that have happened in my web development career. So it has these events kind of expanded, and then you can click on these different events to show more information about them. And they also show them on a timeline so you can see the order of which they happened. This is something that might be useful to see the different apps that I've built, and so we have different, it's a tag graph, and so you can see like, oh, I want to see what gallery apps he's made. So you can click on this tag and then it'll show the gallery apps. And you can click on each of these and it should bring you to the website. And so maybe you have something you want for yourself and it falls under one of these categories. So you might be able to narrow down what you're looking for in some examples that might be similar to what you want built. Got a scheduler component, and so this can be useful for if you're trying to have a way to organize what you do. You can schedule events, title, start date, notes, um, and you can also add images. So um, yeah, that might be useful. Maybe you go out and do different jobs, and so you want to have a way to have an organized way of storing those jobs, and or maybe you have jobs that are upcoming, and so you want to put them on the calendar and maybe add pictures to it or something. And then this is a little game that I made. Um, it's just a really simple game, but you select cards and click on the target um, and you fight this monster. And so yeah, I mean, depending on what you want, you might want a little game for people to play or something. And then I also have financial components, so you can have products that you're listing in your app that people can buy, and you have a good reporting software through Stripe, and so you might want to play around with this, and maybe you want to sell some of the things you create online, and so this would be a good way to do that. And then this sales analytics, it it shows some of the purchases that have been made in your Stripe account, and so this I just have kind of best sellers, so quantity of each item that has been sold, and then this is a purchases over time, so it might be helpful to see kind of how things have been purchased on a time scale. Maybe you have done like a marketing campaign and you're advertising a certain product, so you'd be able to see that maybe that product got some traction or something and the campaign was successful. And then these are decentralized finance tools. So this is Algorand, which is a blockchain in so in this component you can have a way to have users have their own wallet and sign transactions within your app um, very quickly and easily, and which might be useful depending on what you do. And then this one is also tied to decentralized finance, and it it's kind of like a market graph, um, shows different candles of price movement, um, shows patterns of where the price is going. And then the only one I have in AI components is this AI chatbot. And so um, if someone's in your site and they're confused, you might have some questions, some commonly asked questions, or they could type in their own question in here. So we'll try is Berquist applications cool? So it'll think for a little while, and then it gives an answer depending on their question. Um, so obviously this question is a little opinionated, but so we might do like what are web components? And they might this might be useful just to help users understand kind of what you do or how to navigate the site or something. Um, and then you could say like maybe explain like I'm five or something. If you want something in a more non-technical language or something. So yeah, this might be useful for you. And then when you go to the applications tab, you see the same tag graph that I showed earlier. And so I just thought this was useful if people are browsing. Um, if it's a larger set of websites, then they're not gonna. If they're a restaurant owner or something, they're not gonna necessarily want to look at something that has game systems or something. So they can, um, or maybe they want something with online ordering, so they'll click on Stripe and it'll show them the apps that are using Stripe and some kind of online ordering thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this page. And then so the contact is kind of just shows that I'd prefer you reach out via email. And then it has a little thing on pricing. So right now I'm starting with a $300 base price, and then if you have different design assets that you want me to build, probably going to be roughly 100 per design asset. And then plus additional costs of components added in your build. So if you noticed on this components page, there's different prices, and so you might want something like an application or a tag graph or applications graph or um, timeline components, scheduler, and so you could kind of look at these and piece together what you might want in your website. And so this is kind of just to get an idea of what it might cost. Um, things things might be a little bit varied depending on the scope of the project, but um, I should be able to stick around what is laid out in the in this price formula. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this showcase, and yeah, I encourage you to come check it out and think about what might be useful as far as a website goes for the things that you do. And yeah, I'll see you later.